She was once the most promising new novelist. Her debut novel top bestseller lists was translated into 17 languages sale, bringing her immense fame. Yet no one knew that beneath this glory lay a quiet plot to destroy her career.
Grace, Jonathan just signed a new book contract with the publishing house. Its theme and overall framework are nearly identical to the new book you've been developing for a long time.
Grace walked over to Jonathan's computer and unlocked it with their wedding anniversary password. The top folder on the desktop was named My Project. When she opened it, it contained all her manuscripts, outlines, and creative backups accumulated over the years. Worse still, the folder's earliest creation date was far earlier than Grace's own file archives. Jonathan had secretly backed up all her creative efforts, planning day after day, waiting for the perfect chance to steal her work. This time, he copied Grace's unpublished new book outline word for word, submitted it under his own name, and successfully obtained a $1 million advance payment. I will preserve every piece of evidence of his betrayal. Susan, I need you to look up someone for me, Jonathan Gray. I want all contract details for every book he has signed over the past 5 years. The more complete, the better. Susan was Grace's most reliable contact in the publishing industry. 3 years prior, Grace uncovered an industry plagiarism scandal and saved Susan's career. Susan had always remembered this favor, and now Grace came to claim the repayment. 3 days of silence. I've been trapped in endless waiting.
Grace, sit tight first. What I found out is far more terrifying than you could ever imagine. Jonathan didn't just steal your new book. Over the past 5 years, 3 new writers signed under him, and every single one of them was accused of creative plagiarism after publishing their books.
It's not their fault, is it? It's no coincidence at all. The manuscripts they published have a high overlap with a patch of unpublished drafts.
And the original authors of those drafts were all Jonathan's former clients.
Where are those authors now?
The first one completely withdrew from the literary world. The second changed careers and abandoned creation forever. And the third committed suicide 2 years ago.
Grace silently hung up the phone. She instantly realized she nearly became the 4th victim and was already trapped in his scheme. Jonathan had registered her new book outline long before her, leaving her unable to continue writing her own story.
But if she stopped creating, Jonathan would finish the manuscript with her ideas, stand under the spotlight as an original author, top bestseller lists, accept media interviews, and claim all the glory that should have belonged to her. Grace gripped the U-payod holding all evidence and walked out the door. Jonathan would finish the manuscript with her ideas. She did not go to a lawyer. Instead, she decided to head to Brooklyn to find the mother of the deceased female writer who took her own life. I will find the root of all pain and expose his crimes completely. The old apartment corridor is dim and oppressive, with messy cardboard boxes piled by the door. Inside the room hangs a photo of a bright young girl. Her name is Elena, 25 years old, suffering from depression. 2 years ago, she jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge and ended her life.
Before my girl passed away, she kept repeating one sentence. Mr. Gray always said her drafts were immature and needed reworking, and he kept giving her all kinds of writing advice. Back then, I thought she'd met a noble benefactor.
What happened afterwards?
Later, I found out that all those so-called suggestions, all the plots my daughter stayed up all night writing, he stole and turned into books under his own name. That book sold 500,000 copies.
Auntie, I will stand up for Elena and fight to get justice for you.
So many people have said those words to me before, but you're the first one to come to my door with real, solid evidence.
It's late. Where have you been?
Just went out for a walk.
When will you finish your new book? The publisher is pressing for the manuscript.
Soon. It will be ready very soon.
Grace has obtained all evidence of his crimes over the past 5 years. Evidence covering not only her own ordeal, but also the ruined lives of 3 other writers he has destroyed.
It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and Jonathan was fast asleep. Grace sat alone in the study, sorting out all the evidence overnight. She organized original scanscaps in the USB drive, photos of Elena's Postordius graphs, and 5-year contract data retrieved by Susan one by one. She compiled all materials into a 30-page in-depth investigation report, Silenced Writers. This file is not about fiction creation, but about truth and guilt. Grace sent the report to Melissa, Annette's Thirsty 100 Dailies as reporter, Gretchenly and Sharp, who lead earns a prize in nominations, and a trace reliable denta writers. The response I've been waiting for has arrived.
When will you finish your new book? The publisher is pressing for the manuscript.
Grace, I've read everything you sent. If all of this is true, this is by far the biggest scandal the publishing industry has seen in years.
Every word is true. Not a single detail is fabricated. Have you thought this through? Jonathan is your husband. Once this comes out, it will be devastating for you and your marriage. He used to be my husband, but he stopped being him the moment he stole my life's work. Melissa's in-depth report was officially published with a striking headline, Publishers' Predators, How Editors Steal Writers' Souls. The article concealed Grace's name and only mentioned the encounter of a famous best-showing female writer. Yet everyone in the industry knew exactly who the core party involved was.
Did you do this?
I did.
Do you think you've won? I've been rooted in the publishing industry for 30 years with deep connections and networks. Your books will be completely removed from shelves, and all your cooperation contracts will be terminated. Grace, you are nothing. Without me, you can't take a single step in this industry.
Photos of Elena's Postordius graphs and 5-year contract data.
Jonathan's threats soon came true, one after another. The day after the report broke, Grace's publisher called and officially announced the suspension of their contract renewal amid the public controversy. On the 3rd day, her agent informed her that all brand collaborations had been terminated. On the 4th day, numerous anonymous accounts flooded the internet with malicious smears and endless rumors. Jonathan's entire network swung into action, frantically doing damage control and whitewashing his reputation, shifting all public backlash onto Grace. Jonathan moved out completely, taking all his clothes, books, and computer with him. He left only a handwritten note. Grace, you'll regret this. Now, she has long let go of all her worries.
Will the second report be released?
It was scheduled to go online next week. What's up?
Released in advance. I hold more crucial evidence.
What evidence?
The mother of Elena, the previous victim he ruined. She's willing to appear on camera and testify.
He left only a handwritten note. Grace, you'll regret this.
The report titled Elena's Story, The Writer Whose Soul Was Stole, was officially released. Its pages featured photos of Elena's unfinished manuscripts alongside images of her mother in tears. The story quickly sparked a public outcry.
This report spread far and wide, gaining far more attention than the last one. People are focusing on what Elena has been through.
She is no longer here and cannot defend herself. Fortunately, her mother stepped forward and told the whole truth on her behalf. For long, Jonathan's publisher released a public statement announcing the temporary suspension of their collaboration.
Jonathan's partners only suspended their contact with him and have not formally terminated the contracts. It's clear they intend to resume their collaboration once the public uproar fades.
This storm will never die down. A third report, focusing on the 2 other writers whose lives he ruined, is ready and will be released soon.
A month later, Jonathan vanished entirely from the publishing industry. All his books were pulled from shelves. No one knew where he had gone, and Grace never bothered to find out.
Things are looking bad. Your books are still on sale in major bookstores, but sales have dropped by 70%. The media has also been labeling you as a victim.
I am not a victim. I am a survivor. A survivor needs no sympathy from others. I just want to focus on my work. I am not a victim. I am a survivor. Grace decided to leave New York.
I'm not running away. I'm just moving on somewhere new. I'm heading for Cranberry Harbour, a tiny town barely traceable on any map. No publishers or journalists will ever track me down here. Only the sea will keep me company.
Upon arriving in Cranberry Harbour, Grace rented an old house. It features white wooden siding and blue shutters, with a rocking chair sitting on the porch. The owner, Margaret, is in her 50s and works at the town's seafood processing plant. Learning of Grace's needs, Margaret rented out the attic to her as well. Inside stood a vintage Underwood typewriter dating back to the 19...
This belonged to my grandmother. She was a journalist in her lifetime.
What did your grandmother usually write about?
She wrote about everything going on in this small town. Babies being born, people passing away, kids getting into university. That's the kind of news she covered. Yet she had a wonderful way with words. Folks around town all said her articles read just like novels. Grace loved the sound deeply. Steady and lingering, it never failed to soothe her. This belonged to my grandmother.
During her first week in town, Grace would sit quietly on the porch and gaze out at the sea every day. The water shifted hues constantly, now gray, now blue and green, and occasionally tinged with purple.
You stare out at the sea every day. Have you slowly let go of your troubles?
I didn't come here to heal my wounds. I came looking for stories. Not mine, but the experience of the people in this town. By the second week, Grace met Tommy down at the pier. The 25-year-old worked as a hand on a local fishing boat and was busy hauling the day's catch. Spotting Grace standing nearby, he walked over to strike up a conversation.
You must be the new writer in town, aren't you?
I suppose you could say that.
So what do you usually write about? As no clant we e'er in me hout.
I write all kinds of stories. Do you have any stories to share with me?
My grandfather has lived through a great many things. You could go talk to him.
Grace followed Tommy's directions and found his grandfather Henry. In his 70s, Henry had a lingering knee injury that left him walking with a limp. He sat on the porch with a fishing rod in hand, not fishing at all, but staring blankly into the distance.
You're the writer Tommy told me about?
Yes.
What would you like to know?
I'd like to hear your story. I didn't come here to heal my wounds. I came looking for stories.
I've worked on fishing boats for 40 whole years. This boat doesn't belong to me. It belongs to Blake Company. The Blake family has run this town for 3 generations, starting from a tiny fish stall and gradually grew into the largest fishing company in Maine. Half the people in this town work for them, but outsiders know nothing about what really goes on behind the scenes. Their fishing boats always go out illegally during the fishing moratorium, and they use nets with mesh sizes far smaller than the legal standard. The workers at the company live year-round in tin shacks with no heating.
After all these years, why are you willing to tell me all this now?
Because no one ever bothered to listen before. Other people have come to investigate it before. The Blake family has plenty of ways to silence anyone who dares to speak up. This boat doesn't belong to me. It belongs to Blake Company. You're not from this town. They won't just kick you out, but they'll make your life miserable any way they can. You won't be able to stay here until you can't take it anymore and leave on your own.
I'm not leaving. During my 3rd week in town, I went to the Blake Company's processing plant. All kinds of trucks shuttled back and forth inside and outside the factory. The workers all wore identical dark blue work uniforms. I stood at the factory gate for a full hour, and not a single approached me to speak. In the 4th week, I walked into the town library. I went through the 1960s editions of the Cranberry Harbour Weekly, the 1970s editions of the Maine Coast Gazette, and the 1980s editions of the Portland Herald. Based on the information I found, I concluded that the various problems plaguing Blake Company have likely persisted for decades. During my research, I found a total of 35 related reports, all centered around shipwrecks, worker strikes, and various lawsuits involving Blake Company. Every single report ended the same way. During my third week in town, I went to the Blake Company's processing plant. These resolutions were not meant to deliver justice, but simply a way to delay and let the public gradually forget the whole matter. I copied and organized all the valuable reports and brought them back to my residence. As I tirelessly organized the clues I had collected, "Are you that writer?" "Yeah." "My name's Lucia. I work in the finance department of Blake Corporation." "These are the company's fishing records for the past 20 years, not the one released to the public. These are the company's internal archive documents. It clearly records every single one of their fishing yields during the closed season, the buyers of the catch, and the income amount of each transaction." "Why are you giving me these documents?" "Why are you giving me these documents?" "Because my husband used to be a fisherman. After his fishing boat was acquired by Blake Corporation, he became completely unemployed. He couldn't make ends meet and started drinking every day, and finally passed away. His death wasn't directly caused by Blake Corporation, but it was indirectly forced by them. I just want my husband to know that there are still people in this world who are willing to stand up and speak a word of justice for him and all the victimized fishermen." "Aren't you afraid that the company will find out about this and retaliate against you?" "I am. But I'm more a husband died in vain, and that all the oppressed fishermen suffered for nothing." All the maritime accidents, workers' strikes, fishermen's rights lawsuits, all happened within 3 months after the end of the fishing moratorium. This is absolutely no coincidence.
This report has gone viral. Is it because the writing is so brilliant that it moved the public?
Accidents, workers' strikes, fishermen's rights lawsuits. It's not the writing. It's the irrefutable evidence. Every set of numbers, every date, every location, every party involved, all verifiable and fact-checked. Not a single word is false.
You are suspected of leaking internal company confidential information. We will file a lawsuit against you.
You want to sue me? Go ahead! But before that, you better explain clearly those illegal fishing, low-price takeover of fishing boats, and exploitation of fishermen records.
We know suing Lucia will expose the company's internal problems.
But you published reports to slander Blake Company, causing huge damage to our reputation and economy. We formally charge you with defamation and claim $10 million in compensation.
The Blakes are not in the right. They just rely on their wealth. They don't aim to win the case, but to wear Winter down with lengthy litigation and high legal fees, ruin her financially, and
They don't aim to win the case, but to wear Winter down with lengthy...
Michael, this case is about truth and justice. Please help us.
I've spent my whole life fighting against unfair capital and defending the truth. I'll take this for case. We submit an application for a temporary restraining order, requesting the court to prohibit the defendant Winton from publishing any articles about Blake Company to stop false accusations.
the plaintiff applies for a restraining order. Where is the evidence of false content?
There are many false statements in Ms. Winter's reports, which deliberately damage our company's reputation.
Mrs. Winter, do you have anything to say in response to the accusation?
Your Honor, every data, time point, and name in my report has true, legal, and verifiable sources. If the plaintiff claims the content face, please point out the specific false part.
The plaintiff fails to provide evidence of false content. The application for temporary restraining order from Blake Company is hereby rejected. for temporary restraining order from Blake Company is hereby rejected.
We can't win in court, so we'll change our tactics. Since Winter gained support from the townsfolk, we'll target the town and warn everyone who cedes with her.
Litigation can't hold her back. We'll use underhanded pressure, make her associate pay, and force her to give in.
Why? What did I do wrong?
I'm sorry, you're fired. The company is restructuring and downsizing staff.
Why won't you let me dock? I've used this pier for more than 10 years.
The pier is under safety inspection. No fishing boats are allowed to dock. Remember, this pier is owned by the Blake Company.
Just because I stand with Winter, everyone keeps their distance from me.
They're making things hard for us on purpose, trying to force you to back down. Why won't you let me dock? I've used this pier for more than 10 years.
Don't worry about us, we're fine.
It's outrageous for them to take revenge on innocent people. I'm going to the Blake Company headquarters.
Don't be impulsive. The Blakes are powerful. It's dangerous to negotiate with them.
I'm not here to quarrel. I'll negotiate face to face and make them stop retaliating against the townsfolk.
I need to see Harvey Blake. Mr. Blake's office, there's a Mrs. Wint here to see you. Sorry, Mr. Blake is fully occupied and can't meet anyone now. Then I'll wait for him here.
Mrs. Wint, Mr. Blake is willing to reach a settlement to resolve this dispute.
What are the terms of the settlement?
You must stop all articles, reports, and remarks about our company. We will drop the defamation lawsuit and pay you $500,000 as settlement compensation.
I decline.
Settlement to resolve this dispute.
What are the terms of the settlement? What did they talk about? What offer did they make? They offered a settlement to buy my silence. You turned it down? I did. What are you going to do next? Wait. Wait for what? Wait for them to make a mistake. They have money and power and play dirty. They may not leave any new evidence. They will slip up. The Blanks have abused their power for years, thinking they are above the law. You mean they won't stop? Exactly. They won't hold back. They're used to acting recklessly and will never stop on their own. Will this waiting last forever? As long as I keep going and wait patiently, their crimes will eventually be exposed to the public. They can't hide forever.
Let's see.
Right.
These are just ordinary daily things. They are not big news. What's the point of writing them?
Ordinary life holds the truest strength. The authenticity of ordinary people is the most powerful motivation. Ordinary life holds the truest strength. Have you seen the video online? Everyone is talking about Blake Company dumping washer water into the sea. I've seen it. This is a great chance. Keep exposing them, and public opinion will be more favorable. This isn't my chance. It's the inevitable consequence of what they've done. What are you going to write about it? I won't write accusations. I'll write about the polluted shells on the beach, washed ashore and crushed under people's feet.
Blakely Company is in total chaos now. Everyone lives in fear, and no one dares to engage illegal openly anymore. A flame cannot be hidden behind a paper bag. After the environmental group filed the lawsuit, the company's got price crashed. So his power has been stripped away, hasn't it? The whole company is in turmoil. No one dares to stand by Harvey, fearing they will get dragged into the trouble. Everyone knows this disaster can only avoid.
Problems that have built up for decades deserve to be settled at last.
We officially launch a comprehensive investigation into all business activities of Blakely Company over the past 30 years. All violations that damage the environment and public interests will be thoroughly investigated and heard publicly.
Harvey Blakely, Mr. Blakely Jr., and the core legal team, please come forward for inquiry.
They ignored the rules for profit and sacrificed our lives and health. Their misdeeds should never be tolerated.
I have worked here for decades. I witnessed the company breaking rules for profit and harming the sea and townspeople.
This day has finally come. Do you feel relieved now?
I have worked on this boat for 40 years. I've seen deception, environmental damage, and endless grievances. Today, justice is finally served.
All your forbearance and persistence have not been in vain.
Yes. This justice belongs not only to me, but to everyone in this town.
I witnessed the company breaking rules for profit and harming the sea and townspeople.
Grace, the 6-month official investigation is finally over. The official result is out. Blakely Company has been confirmed guilty of illegal fishing, labor exploitation, and illegal sewage passage for years. They were fined $25 million.
What about Harvey and his son?
Harvey was removed from his chairman position. His son is also banned from serving as any company senior executive for 5 years. All of Blakely's factories, fishing boats, and docks have been publicly auctioned. I led the local fishermen to set up a cooperative and took over all the docks and fishing boats.
From now on, everything belongs to the townspeople.
The docks and fishing boats are managed by us fishermen now. They're no longer arrogant bosses controlling everything.
This is the result of everyone's joint efforts.
A new chapter for the town.
Grace, I'm back at work. The factory is run by the Fishermen's Cooperation now, and the whole atmosphere is totally different.
That's wonderful. How do you feel now?
The work stays the same, but my heart is completely different. We're finally working for ourselves now.
It's wonderful to have such a change. This is the result of everyone's joint efforts.
The Grace-sold documentary work Testimony by the Sea was officially, after Maine Coast News released its review.
The book sold steadily at first. After Maine Coast News released its review recognizing its authenticity, sales tripled directly. Now the heat is rising. We can distribute the book to major bookstores nationwide. Sales will definitely keep soaring.
There is no need for deliberate promotion. It is enough for the book to be read by those who need it. I will donate half of all royalties to Cranberry Port to build our town's public library.
Grace donated half of the royalties from this book to Cranberry Harbour for the construction of the town's public library.
When I was little, our town didn't even have a single library. Today, we finally have one of our own.
Kindness builds warmth for the town. Books exist here to be read and remembered. The truth written in words has taken root in this town, guarding every ordinary and warm future.
Today, we finally have one of our own.
Jonathan saw the online reports about Grace's book, Testimony by the Sea. He wrote a personal letter and sent it back to the small town.
Jonathan sent you a letter. Are you planning to write back?
I have no plan to reply, nor do I want to meet him.
You two once shared a life as husband and wife. After all these years, do you really not keep any old memories?
He has completely walked out of my life. He no longer belongs to my present and future story.
All trivial entanglements fade away. Grace's life returns to peaceful and quiet days in the small town. Every early morning, Grace sits on the porch and records the warm, ordinary lives of townspeople with her old typewriter. The clear sound of typing lingers by the sea day after day, guarding the simplest piece of Cranberry Port. Late autumn in Maine, the glory fades. Harvey Blake, the tycoon who ruled for half his life, died suddenly of nursing home on the outskirts. He died with no relatives by his side, No one to see him off, ending a life full of calculations and sins in a hasty manner. In Cranberry Harbour in the afternoon.
Did you hear? Harvey Blake passed away.
I heard. It was on the news this morning.
All the newspapers online are scrambling to publish his obituary, compile his life story. Do you want to write one too?
No. He's not worth it.
Not worth it?
Yes, he's just a paragraph that's completely turned over in my life. My book has never reserved a place for him. It's not forgiveness. He doesn't deserve to be recorded.
True letting go is never holding a grudge, but complete indifference. The villain's death stirs no waves, leaving only an unlamented ending.
This is your wedding gift, gentle redemption.
Grace, thank you. This is the most precious gift I've ever received. I saw the words on the title page.
Don't thank me. Your grandfather was the bravest man in this town. Summer fades, autumn wind blows into the harbor. The bustle fades, Cranberry Harbour slowly returns to silence. The old friends in the town have also ushered their respective farewell. Grace, I'm here to return the book. When did you start liking romance novels? I remember you only read mysteries and biographies before. I didn't like it either. My daughter recommended it. She always hopes that I can meet a new love again. But I'm already 60 years old. Whether you can meet someone or not doesn't matter. What matters is that she always wants you to be happy. You too. You must be kind to yourself and live a happy life. Simple words of advice hide the most sincere friendship.
But behind this warmth lies a long farewell.
I sold the house in the town. I'll go to Florida to live with my daughter from now on. I probably won't come back very often. Take care of yourself all the way.
You too. Take good care of yourself.
The old friend travels far away to another land. All old friends have left one after another. In the vast harbor town, only Grace is left in the end, staying behind to guard the bookstore full of memories. The fireworks fade and farewells comes. Years of loneliness. Beneath the seemingly peaceful daily life, a career choice that will overturn the status quo is approaching.
Grace, great news! Testimony has been translated into 7 languages and is selling very well in Europe and South America.
Really? That's nice.
That's not even the best part. Several major publishing houses are fighting for your next book right now. I suggest you write a novel. With your fame and reader base, it will definitely be a bestseller of the year.
No.
Why?
What a great opportunity! It's a shame if you don't write it! It's not that I don't want to write, it's that I can't anymore. I can no longer write fictional stories. Truth is more powerful than fiction, and it deserves to be written more.
Look at this. Jonathan's new book is out.
I know.
The reviews don't seem very good. Critics say the book is shallow, cliched, and soulless.
I know why.
Why?
Because the framework of those stories is mine, but the execution is his own. He can only steal the framework, not the soul. The soul is mine. I took it with me a long time ago. Mrs. Wenter, I absolutely love your Testimony by the Sea. I want to adapt this book into a film.
I promise we'll bring on the best team and the biggest budget and bring this story to the big screen in its original essence.
I decline.
Why? Your story is so moving. The audience will absolutely...
My story isn't meant to be liked. It's meant to be remembered.
Films can make people remember too.
Films will be forgotten, but books won't.
The books are right here in this library. Anyone who wants to read them can pick one up. No tickets needed, no waiting for screenings, whenever you want.
Grace, you're so stubborn. If it's made into a film, millions upon millions of people will see your story.
More people don't matter. What matters is that the people who need to see it have seen it. The fishermen, the workers, all the people hurt by Blake Company. They saw it, and they said, finally, someone is writing about us. That's enough. Someone is writing about us. That's enough. I have written a new book. It is completely different from Testimony by the Sea. There are no intense conflicts, no vicious antagonist, and not even a complete storyline in it. The book contained only the sea at dawn, at dusk, before storms, and in calm weather. It was filled with seagulls, shells, waves, sunrises, and the trivial daily lives of coastal people.
Grace, this book is too plain and lacks selling points. I'm afraid I'll outsell hell.
I don't need selling points. Selling points belong to businessmen, and I am not a businessman.
Grace decided to publish the book herself. She printed 500 copies at her own expense and placed them all in the public library of Cranberry Port, prominently displayed at the entrance, accompanied with a small sign that said, "Free access, 1 copy per person."
Grace, I'm not in this book.
You're not inside the book. You exist outside of it. On the docks, on the fishing boats, in the sea. Books are only paper. People are the real stories.
You're starting to sound like a philosopher.
I'm no philosopher. I'm just an old woman who has spent her life writing words. I don't need selling points. Selling points belong to businessmen.
She received a letter from Elena's mother. In the letter, Elena's mother told her, "My daughter's book has finally been published. It's released by an independent publishing house instead of a major press. Only 1,000 copies were print. I've already sent you one." The book is titled Winter in Brooklyn. Onlookers would notice its title resembles her book Winter Sea, yet the two works are completely different. But she knew perfectly well that this was Elena's book, not hers. She gently flipped open the first page. On the title page was Elena's handwritten note. To Grace Winter, "You spoke for my daughter. I thank you on her behalf."
At the sight of these words, her nose turned slightly sour. She solemnly placed the new book on the bookshelf, side by side with her own book, Winter Sea. "You spoke for my daughter. I thank you on her behalf." The collection of books in the town library grew richer day by day. Local residents dug out their treasured books from home and donated them to the library voluntarily.
The edges of these old books are worn out, yet they become more charming the more you read them.
Read by generations upon generations, it seems to house living souls within. Every corner bears the marks of time.
The new administrator is named Sarah, 25 years old, the daughter of a local fisherman. She studied library management, but couldn't find a job after graduation, so she returned home.
Ms. Winter, I will take good care of every book in the library and guard these collections well.
Books don't need deliberate care. What truly needs carefully attention is every reader. The Hussein of Ludran work is to let the every book find its rightful reader and pass the value of books. Ludran work is to let the every book.
Excuse me, is Grace Winter here?
I am.
My name is Sophie. I'm from New York. I'm Jonathan's daughter.
He never mentioned he had a daughter.
Because I read your book, Testimony by the Sea, and I read my father's books. They are nothing alike. Your writing has a soul. His does not. I've always wanted to understand, why does the same story feel so different when written by two people?
Because he steals. I create. Stolen words can never carry a soul.
He steals, I create. Stolen words can never hold a soul. I want to write. I don't want to copy or steal. I want to truly create. Will you teach me?
Yes. But I won't teach you how to write. I will only teach you how to listen. Listen to the world's stories. Listen to the small details. Listen to the hidden emotions people can't put into words. Only when you truly hear these can you write words that touch people's souls.
He never mentioned he had a daughter. Grace, all the stories I've heard are full of sadness. Are there no happy stories here?
Happy stories don't need to be written down. Those joyful days are deeply etched in everyone's heart and will be remembered thatterly. Happy stories don't need to be written down. Those joyful days are deeply etched in everyone's heart and will be remembered thatterly.
Thank you for teaching me to listen. No.
Jonathan is seriously ill in hospital in New York. No one is taking care of him. Will you go and see him?
Your Mr. Aftervent.
He's your ex-husband.
He's my ex-husband, but not my responsibility.
He chose his life, I chose mine. His candidacies, his choices put him in that hospital bed. My choices let me sit safely by the sea, living my own life.
He's lost a lot of weight. He's in really bad shape. And what did he say? He keeps saying, Grace, I'm sorry. He said it so many times. You don't need to mace him. What you really need to face is yourself. I went to see him not because he's my father, but because I wanted to. I wanted to go in my heart, so I went. That's enough. What did he say? The person I loved the most, even at the end, didn't know who I was. I stood in front of him, but I was a stranger to him. All he remembered was you. He had everyone, but never me. Finally, I can let out all the sadness. I want to keep his story alive, truly.
Then go ahead and write it. Once you finish the manuscript, place it on a shelf at the town library. Those who wish to read it will pick it up.
while others may choose to pass it by. But so long as you put this past down on paper, this story will endure forever. Write it down, and his story will last forever. I want to keep his story alive, truly.
In the evening, Winter sat on the rocking chair in front of the door with a typewriter on her lap. The sea wind was strong, blowing the paper rustling. She pressed it down with her hand. The ink on the paper had completely dried and would not fade even in the wind.
This time, instead of creating a new story, she wrote a letter to everyone in Crankton Port. She thanked them for their trust, their stories, and their silence. Silence is not weakness, but waiting. Waiting for someone who is willing to listen to the truth. And now, someone is listening.
She placed it on the empty shelf in the library. Bat-mailed, but placed. Whoever wants to read it can take it. No need to return.
My name is Grace Winter. I am a writer not because my books are bestsellers, but because I have listened to stories that should never be forgotten. Stories reside by the sea, in the typewriter, and in the mouths of everyone who is willing to speak their name. The sun set. A streak of golden light hung in the sky, just like the reflection on typewriter keys.